Barry Neal again here, and in this video I want to start discussing marketing, and this is going to be one of a series of videos that I want to do on marketing because it's a really important area, and it's an area that's totally missed out from most hypnosis trainings. Now in this day and age, most people think, oh, I've got to do online marketing. So they spend loads of money on a website, then they start building Facebook pages, and doing YouTube videos and all sorts of things like that, loads of Facebook lives, and it sounds great. But what happens is everyone starts fishing out of the same pool, and the rewards start getting smaller and smaller. It can get very expensive, particularly if you don't know what you're doing. You start spending money on Facebook ads and things like that. You can easily spend a couple of £1,000 on a website, which in a lot of cases won't be a good investment because the web designer will make a nice pretty website, but it probably won't be all that efficient from a marketing point of view. But all this leaves out a massive area, and that is offline marketing. And I've got to tell you that offline marketing is probably the best way to build your business. Yeah, have a website by all means, but offline marketing is the best to build your website, to build your business locally. And it really is. You'll become the expert, the go-to expert in your area, which I know everyone wants to think, oh, I want to be a global expert. You know, I want people coming in from here, there and everywhere. Well, yeah, sounds great. But it's hard work. It's a lot easier to become the expert in your area. And by doing offline marketing, it's really easy to do. But like everything else, it takes a lot of effort. And I used to tell my students, you know, that one of the great things about being a hypnotherapist is you only have to work half a day. And you even get to choose what 12 hours you want to work. Amazing. And this is the thing, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to put some effort in. But when you do, you are going to become the go-to expert in your area. And then you'll start getting referrals coming in all the time, and you'll be able to sit back a little bit and take advantage of that, and take advantage of then referral marketing, which we'll talk about in another video. But right now, what I want to talk to you about is how you can start to build your business using offline marketing strategies. Now, some years ago, when I did my £1,000 a day stop smoking program, and I taught hypnotherapists how to earn £1,000 a day, it was all done through offline marketing. This was in the days when virtually no one had a website, Facebook didn't exist, and people built these really professional, profitable practices just using offline marketing strategies. Now at the time, local newspapers were really integral in that marketing strategy. Now they still work, but not to the same degree as they used to, because very few people actually read local newspapers anymore. I mean, it used to be that the local newspaper was the go-to guide for if you wanted to buy a house. You didn't go to Rightmove at that time, so you picked the local paper up and you looked through all the adverts. If you wanted to buy a car, there was no Auto Trader, so you bought the local paper and you went to the adverts for cars. And as a result, the readership of local papers was really, really high. And if you advertised correctly, then you could advertise in local papers really, really effectively. And quite honestly, you just using that one strategy alone, you could fill your practice up for weeks ahead if you were doing this one thing. And that was picking a niche. This is probably the single most important thing for people to understand, is if you are going to be successful, stop thinking like a generalist and start thinking in the way of niche marketing. Now, people get this confused. They think, but hang on a minute, if I'm only going to do niche marketing, I'll only see those clients, and there really aren't that many in my area. Well, that's because you're thinking wrong. Niche marketing means that you become the go-to expert for that particular thing. And what will happen is you'll get a lot of publicity as being the go-to expert in that thing. You'll get a lot of clients that come to you for that thing. And then what will happen is they'll say to you, Guy, you really helped me with X. Do you work with Y? And you go, well, yeah, of course I do. And what you'll find is you'll end up working with loads of other different things, even though you're only marketing to one area. So this is how niche marketing works. It's not that you're only, if you pick like, okay, I'm going to be the expert for working with anxiety for pregnant fathers. It doesn't mean that's the only client you're ever going to see. You're not. You're going to see loads of others, but they are your way in. They are your foot in the door. So pick a niche. How do you pick a niche? Well, first, what are you interested in? You know, it could be anything. And I don't know your lives and what you're interested in, but there are many things that you could pick a niche. I mean, for example, I do Western riding. I'm a competitive rodeo rider. Now, I could go into that area and work with riders' confidence. That's a big area. There's loads of people who are scared witless of getting on a horse, even though they've even got horses. So that's a specific area. So that's something that I could do that really would interest me. But I'm sure there's ones for you. I mean, I know loads of people who got into this profession because they had been helped in some way. Like maybe they got PTSD or something like that, and they found the only relief they got was when they went to see a hypnotherapist or an NLP practitioner. Now, if that's something that you do, that's a good area for you to go because you've got the personal experience of that. Or the same if you've recovered from, like say, like you stopped smoking or you lost 10 stone or something like that. That may be an area that you want to pick, but pick something, anything, pick it, and direct all your marketing attention to that one specific thing. Do not try to be all things to all people. It's the biggest mistake that hypnotherapists make. In the days when people used to advertise in the yellow pages, you'd see these adverts with like shopping lists of all the things these people can supposedly cure. And you still see it now on other people's websites. You go and see their websites and they've got these absolute shopping lists of things they're supposedly able to treat. And the reality is, no one can be an expert in all those things. So don't do that. It's a big mistake. I know the temptation is there, but don't do it. It's a mistake. So get down to brass tacks. What can we do? So the number one thing that I recommend that you do, so local papers are probably not a big thing that they used to be, but what still works offline, which is really, really, really useful, are leaflets. Yeah, I know, nobody reads leaflets anymore. They just throw them away, do they? How come all these Chinese restaurants and Indian takeaways and pizza parlours keep punting them out? Because they work. Now, admittedly, you are not going to get a huge percentage. If you send out 100 leaflets, you're not going to get 10 clients. If you send out 1,000 leaflets, you may not even get 1 client. So you've got to be putting out a huge amount of leaflets. And I recommend that you put out 20,000 leaflets a month, every month. And you have, hang on, how can I do that? Is it going to cost a fortune? Well, yeah, you're in business. You're supposed to be in business. This is not something that you just do part-time. If you are going to be a success in this field, you have got to invest in your business. You've got to spend money and you've got to put in the effort. Now, at first, you may be the one going out and delivering those leaflets. If that needs to, do it. Remember, you only get to work half a day. It's great. So go out and do that. Go out the leaflets all the time. Put them through people's doors all the time. But here's another way you can do it, which is I found is really good because you can get the delivery paid for by other people. What you do is you advertise in something like Craigslist or something like that for a leaflet distributor, and you pay them an hourly rate. Then you advertise to a couple of other local businesses, hey, I'll charge you X amount to deliver your leaflets with just 2 other leaflets. Would you be prepared to do that? And of course most will, because they don't really want to be going through with like some of these other leaflet distributors that stick a handful of leaflets in and everything just gets screwed up and thrown on the floor. So what you then do is you get the leaflet distributor, you pay them an hourly rate, you then negotiate with these other couple of businesses, pay them, get them to pay you to deliver their leaflets, and the leaflet distributors then distributes your leaflets when they're doing those. Basically, your delivery is free. So it's a win-win. So it's really, really good. Now the key there is, again, your leaflets have to be on a niche. No good just saying, Barry Neal Hypnotist. No one cares. It's got to be something that's to do with your niche, and you've got to have a bold headline. So when I used to do the stop smoking, it would be, I can make you stop smoking in 1 hour. So it's a real bold headline that straight away tells what you are doing and how you're doing it, how they benefit. So you have to have a powerful headline on your leaflet. That's really crucial. So as soon as a person looks at it, they know exactly what it is and what it's going to do for them. So whatever it is, it could be, you could have a testimonial like you often see with the fat person and the slim person, like the contrast there. I lost 10 stone with hypnosis. You can do the same, that sort of thing. So make sure your leaflet has got a big, bold headline that stands right out. And you typically want the trifold leaflet, so there's plenty of information. And of course, if you've got the website, put your website details on as well, but obviously your other contact details. But your leaflets are really, 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 really important. And you want to start not only getting a leaflet distributor to distribute them, but you also want to get out into your community and start dropping them off at doctors, dentists, hairdressers, schools, restaurants, and particularly health clubs. Health clubs can be really important. I mean, you imagine if you pick a niche of either smoking or weight loss or pain or something like that, you imagine many health clubs, one of the things they want to do is help those sorts of people. They've got people there who want to lose weight. One of the biggest the problems that health clubs have is the attrition rate. People sign up and then they never go and cancel their membership. But if you can show the health club, if they work alongside you and put your leaflets in with their introduction packs and things like that, and you can even do little talks at the health clubs, that you can show them that the clients who sign up and pay their membership will stay longer and train longer and continue to pay their membership for longer, because you are going to use hypnosis and whatever to motivate them in a way that they've never been motivated before, then they're going to be happy to take on your leaflets. So those are the sorts of things you want to get out into the people. Now, the other thing, which I highly recommend, is if you're sitting there and you think, well, it's Tuesday today, it's about 11 o'clock, next client's not till 4 o'clock, Bargain Hunt's on in a minute, I'll just have a cup of tea and a sandwich and I'll watch Bargain Hunt, and then I'll file something away and maybe read a little bit of a book and prepare for the next session. No! Get off your arse and get into town and speak to someone. Anyone, I don't care. Go into the shop. One of the things I used to do, and my friend used to do, a pair of us used to go out and we would walk along the high street and we go into every single shop and we say, hi, my name's Barry and I've just opened up the new hypnosis practice down the road in such and such. Can I introduce myself and can I just drop off a few leaflets? And if you have any questions about hypnosis, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, people would have questions. Most people are actually interested in hypnosis. It's one of the easiest things to talk about because most people have an interest in it. And we would often be there doing rapid inductions and things like that and sticking people's hands to the desktops and places like that every time we went out. And we would get, on average, 1 new client an hour. Every hour. Just by doing that. Now think about that. If you're sitting there doing nothing, you could be going out talking to people, dropping off loads of leaflets and getting at least 1 new client every hour and getting yourself known. So get off your backside, go out into town and go and do it. It really pays dividends, and it's much better than sitting there checking your Facebook status. So really, really stress you. If you want to maybe be a success in this, you've got to get off your ass and do it. So go out and do what I call walkabouts. Just go out, talk to people. Really, really simple. Just takes some effort. Then, this next one is really, really good because again, you want to become the expert in your area and you want to start doing public speaking. Yeah, I know. You'd like to do public speaking, but you're scared of speaking. Well, guess what? You're already speaking. You're only ever speaking to one person at a time, even if there's 100 people in the room. And in case you haven't noticed, you're a hypnotist. Deal with it. So get off your ass and start promoting yourself as a public speaker. And the places you want to go to are things like you can do it in the library, but particularly most clubs and associations are always looking for monthly speakers, like the Women's Institute, the Towns Women's Guild, the Rotary Club, the Round Table. All of those regularly have monthly meetings where they have someone come and do a talk. And it's really, really useful because you become the expert. You get to speak to all these people, and quite often these are key people that you want to be speaking to in the first place. So get out there and write to these people, phone them up, say, what have I got to do to become a speaker? You know, I'm a hypnotherapist, I work with X, Y, or Z. I can show your members how quickly they can do this, that, or the other very, very quickly. Pick up the phone, get out there. If you send them a letter and you don't reply, pick up the phone. Just keep driving them mad until they say yes. Persistence pays. Now, there is a key to doing public speaking. And it's not just flapping your lips. It really isn't. You have to make your information educational, and this is a really cool way of doing that. This is something that's taught in a lot of the NLP trainings because it's a way of formatting information in a way that appeals to most people's learning styles. And it's not visual, auditory, kinesthetic nonsense. That's something totally different. We'll go into that another time. It's what's called the format system. And it's used a lot in education. And it's developed by someone called Bernice McCarthy. And what it means is basically people learn in 4 different ways of learning. And if you don't cover their motivation or reason for learning, then they are not going to learn. And so you need to cover these 4 different ways when you've got a group of people, because obviously they're going to be all different learning styles in a group, and you have to sequence them in the right order. So here's how you do that. First of all, step 1 is you tell them why they need to learn this material. Now, there's a sort of pre-step 1 is you give them a quick frame of what you're going to be talking. So you give them a little bit of a what. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can reduce pain with hypnosis. Yeah, so that's your what. But then you say why. And you might be asking yourself why you want to do that. Why would you want to use hypnosis instead of taking drugs? So you give them the why, all the reasons why it's so important for them to use hypnosis or NLP instead of X, Y, Z. And of course, we all know, particularly if you're talking about pain and things like that, there's a lot of positive reasons for using hypnosis and NLP to reduce pain as opposed to taking drugs. So you give them a lot of why they want to do that. So that will get all the people who learn through having to know why first. That will motivate them to pay attention. Then you tell them what. So you tell them what it is. You give them what, you give them, if you need to do the scientific bit, the boring bit, but you tell them what it is, how it works. You tell them about hypnosis. Maybe you tell them what hypnosis is. You might use explanations of the conscious mind and this, that, the other, but you tell them what it is. Again, if you're working with different things, then you explain the what in your particular area. Then you do the how. Now, if you're doing a talk, the best how you can do is a demo. Get a demo subject up. Now, I'm not expecting you, if you're working on weight loss or something like that, I'm not expecting you to get someone up and do a full weight loss session. But what you do is you do some form of demonstration. Now, that could be as simple as like a group hand clasp and the finger magnets and things like that, the heavy and light arms and that sort of thing, or locking the hands together, or it could actually be bringing one subject up. I mean, typically what I'd like to do if I get the time is to do all those, do group convincers like that, and notice which ones are the best ones, and then pick one of the best ones, and then bring that person up to do a proper instant induction demo. Then you've really captured people's imagination. They suddenly can see what you can do. And if you don't know how to do rapid inductions, go and learn them, for heaven's sakes. If you're still doing progressive muscle relaxation inductions from the script, go and learn how to do hypnosis properly, because it will transform your confidence and your ability to be successful with clients. So then you've done that. So you've done your demonstration. Then it's the what if. And this is where you take questions. You need to take questions, but you need to take them in the right place. If you start taking them right at the front, it's going to get disruptive. The lecture's going to go on too long. So you need to do this in the right order. And then you wrap up, and sometimes you may not be able to take questions, but you pose the what ifs yourself. So follow that when you're doing any of these public talks. Make sure you just open with a little bit of what, then give them a why. This will activate all the people who have a why motivation. They will then be interested and pay attention. Because think about it, let's say if you didn't do the why, and there are people out there who need to know why they need to learn something in order to learn them, otherwise what's the point? Why am I sitting here wasting all this bloody time when I could be down the pub? And you just go straight into the what or the how. Are they going to pay attention? No, they're not at all. So you've got to hook those people in right away by telling them why they need to know this. So do this. So follow this format. So you don't need to script at the worst thing you do. Oh, but God, yeah, please. When you're doing public speaking, if you're going to stand there with 3x5 cards, don't do it. You are going to bore the crap off people. I trust that you know how to do hypnosis and you know your subject. Just get some mental bullet points before you go in. Mentally think, right, I'm going to organise this in the what, the why, what, how, and what if, and have some bullet points. Maybe just put them down. But for heaven's sakes, don't use 3x5 cards. You will bore the crap out of people and they will not book sessions. Now, here's another tip to make sure you actually get something out of these sessions. Is if you are, let's say you're working with something like male sexual dysfunction. That's your niche. So now, if you do a talk to the Rotary Club or the Round Table with all these men standing there, and you do this talk on male sexual dysfunction, and they're all sitting there going, oh yeah. And then you end your thing and you do your what ifs and whatever, and then you say, okay, would anyone like a leaflet? How many people do you think are going to come up in front of all their friends and take a leaflet off you saying, yes, I have a problem with my penis? None of them. So here's what you do. Is before the talk starts, you go and put your leaflets and cards on every single chair and table so that it's all on their chairs. So when you're doing your talk, they can sit there and go, oh, this guy, Yes, oh, yeah. Who needs that stuff? I would never need that. But they've got it. So make sure you do that. That's how you're going to get it. If you just stand there expecting people to come up and get a card off you, you're wasting your time. So you've got to get it into their hands straight away. So these are just 3 strategies you can use right now to start building your business offline. There are more, and I will be going into those in the next few videos. But just really get your mindset around this. It takes effort, but you have to do it if you're going to be successful. You're in business. This is not a hobby. You've got to want to put the effort into it. You've got to motivate yourself. You've got to burn your bridges and get out there and do it. So until next time, I'll see you soon.